Hey, this is Mike from One Stop Co-op Shop, and I wanted to fit in one more top 10 list before we finished out the year. About a month ago, I already went through my top 20 published games of 2019, but I didn't talk about the Kickstarter previews I did on the channel. I did playthroughs and/or reviews of 11 games on Kickstarter this year, almost all of which will deliver next year, 2020. I'm going to go through my top 10. We won't mention number 11, but if you really want to, you can dig through the YouTube channel and figure out which one it was. It wasn't very good. Number 10 is Adventure Tactics, a JRPG tactical miniature combat game. While I thought the openness of the leveling system in Adventure Tactics, where you can add on any class at any time, was brilliant, I thought the actual card effects you got from those levels were a little ho-hum. But more worrying was the lack of interesting encounters and the lack of narrative in the campaign structure. These are all things that can definitely be improved, and I'm hoping they will be, but at least in the demo I played, I found it a little bit dull and the balance was sometimes way off. Number 9 brings spaceship combat and crew management to the planet with Battlestations Dirtside. I'm a big fan of the Battlestations series overall. It's basically a mashup of board game mechanics and RPG sensibilities. And Dirtside is exciting because it's the first game in the series that's fully cooperative. But like the regular Battlestations games, this is really almost more of an RPG, so it has a ton of rules and things to look up and a lot of fiddliness in the system. Plus, while it does offer fully co-op gameplay, I still get the feeling that it might be better as a one versus many system. So I still really want to play it, don't get me wrong, but as a fully cooperative board game experience, I'm not so sure yet. Number 8 is the Ghosts Betwixt, a dungeon crawler set in the modern American heartland. I'm so happy this game did a second Kickstarter and got funded because I think it has a lot of cool stuff going for it. The way the story plays out through varied cards, the unique theme, the exploration, the variety in how the house comes out, the unique game mechanics, it's all really cool. That being said, it's pretty random. You might finish encounters really quickly or really slowly. And overall, in the version I played, gameplay was just a little bit too slow and scenarios just a little bit too long. Now, the designer said he was working on that, so it might be way better, I hope so. But for now, I wasn't 100% sold on the game, although I am excited to play it again. Number 7 is X-odus, Rise of the Corruption, where spaceships fight to save the universe from certain destruction. I like this game a lot, between the varied ships that can upgrade in unique ways and the really interesting tactical board play of building the galaxy and trying to avoid these terrible avatars. I also thought the core mechanic of rolling 2 dice for your actions can be really fun and uses ship abilities well, although of course it can be random sometimes. My only worry with this one was whether they would have enough content to give it a lot of replayability, and I still can't really tell. This is one where I'd love to have 10 ships, and I think you only get 6 or 7 in the game. Number 6 is Dice Throne Adventures, the solo or co-op mode for the competitive card dueling game Dice Throne. This is one that I'm still super psyched about. I think the core Yahtzee gameplay of Dice Throne is really exciting. I love the varied fighters and that you can use anyone from Season 1 or 2 in this new version. And it's a big selling point that my son enjoys it a lot, and especially with Dice Throne Adventure, he was incredibly excited to play the demo. That being said, in my Kickstarter review, I identified several things that were big worries for me, especially the way the bosses came out and leveled up at the beginning of combat. The designers said they were going to work on that stuff, so if they change it, I could be 100% sold on this game and it might shoot near the top of my list. But if they don't, I'm not really sure how I'm going to feel about it when it delivers, so I guess it's just wait and see. We're into the top half of the list now, and all of these I like basically without reservation. Number 5 is Hour of Need, the newest modular deck system game from the Sadler brothers with superheroes duking it out with villains. This Kickstarter didn't do gangbusters, and I can see why, because it seems like maybe a little bit too much modular deck system in the world, and also Marvel Champions had just released. That being said, I think this is the best version of the modular deck system. I think it's the cleanest design with the fewest fiddly effects, and the characters and heroes are a lot of fun. I love how the issue plays out in a cinematic way. My only little concern is that the heroes didn't seem to have a ton of variety in the base game, but I imagine even with the limited number of expansions they unlocked in the Kickstarter, that'll be improved pretty quickly, so I'm definitely excited to try this one when it delivers, hopefully this coming year. Number 4 is Aeon Trespass Odyssey, a dark version of Greek mythology where you fight to save the world in a gameplay experience inspired by Kingdom Death Monster. This game is wild in its ambition. I mean, gosh, they just have so much stuff in the Kickstarter content, and I just hope they can finish it all and deliver on the amazing ambitions they have. But despite those minor concerns, the combat here is a ton of fun. It's clearly Kingdom Death Monster with their own spin on it, but that's an awesome combat system, so there's nothing wrong with that. The exploration is kind of more 7th Continent, but with some choose your own adventure thrown in, and it's really a fun ride. I mean, just the demo is really interesting. Now, yes, like Kingdom Death Monster, you can have repetitive fights with the same type of monster, and those could get boring, especially on repeated playthroughs if you die early. But overall, this is an epic, wild, crazy game, and I'm so excited to see how they do with it. Number 3 is the only game on this list that did not fund, and it breaks my heart, the JRPG tabletop adventure game. Yeah, this one hurts. I adored this game when I play it, and I wish I had my demo copy so I could play it some more, but I sent it back to the designer. It feels like they've truly brought to life my favorite JRPG experiences with this. The humor in the game is great, the tactical combat is awesome, I love how the characters level up in so many exciting ways, and they'll level up differently if you choose different options in the campaign. Yeah, this one is awesome, one of my top games of the year, and man, I just hope that they find someone else to publish it and make it a reality because I want to play it. Get into the top of the list, we have my number 2 Kickstarter from 2019, Oathsworn. Oh man, Oathsworn is awesome. If you look at the adventuring portion, it's got really great, well-written narrative in this fun choose-your-own-adventure campaign that really gives you tension and forces you to make tough choices again and again. And from what I've heard of the samples, the app narration that's going to go along with it is going to be amazing. But then you get into the combat, which calls to mind Gloomhaven, but with all bosses instead of just lots of drudgery in the dungeons. Characters are super varied, you have this really fun cooldown mechanic, tons of interesting tactical positioning. The bosses are hugely different from boss to boss, each one being very exciting. And I only played the game on computer, so I've never even seen the pieces, but from what I've seen from all the previews, oh, these miniatures are going to be unbelievable. So yeah, Oathsworn, super excited to get it to the table someday. Finally, my number 1 Kickstarter for 2019, another modular deck system game, Altar Quest. So like I said, I think Hour of Need is the best version of this design with the cleanest mechanics, but Altar Quest still has the best tactical gameplay, the most interesting card play, the best cooperation between heroes. Even with the incredibly limited amount of the game I saw, with just 2 heroes and 1 villain and 1 quest, it was such an incredible time, and I replayed the same thing over and over and didn't have any problem with replay value. So the idea that when my pledge delivers, and I'll have like 30 heroes and tons of quests, I mean, it might be so much content that I'll be overwhelmed, but I think the core gameplay here is amazing, and I can't wait to explore and experience everything else they have in store. And I have to say, with Oathsworn, with Aeon, Trespass, Odyssey, with all these crazy long campaign games, the fact that I can just set up a game of Altar Quest and play in an hour and put it away and be done is definitely a selling point to this market. So that's it. 10 Kickstarter games in 2019. We won't mention number 11. And we have some great Kickstarter previews coming for you in January. I think I'm doing 5 in like the first 2 weeks, so yeah, kind of crazy. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.